Hello good people, quick video on how to check if your server is under attack. If you've come to the point where you think your server is under attack and now you have to check it manually and there's something important on your server, then I'm sorry to say this, but you have already done something wrong because you should have at least a monitoring or something set up. But I'm not here to lecture you about that. Um, let's get into the steps. So first of all, we check the established connections. With Netstat or SS, we check which connections are established. If somebody is sitting in our server with SSH enabled, then we've got a real problem. Good for me in my case, nobody else except for me is using SSH. Next thing, check the active processes, especially root processes with high memory or high CPU. Maybe they also have a funny name, but this isn't always the case. The next thing that you might check, and I've talked about this in another video on the basics of server security video, right? You have to at least have your audit SE Linux enabled and enforcing. If you have this, you can use tools like AU report or AU search. You might want to read into this if you haven't done so already, because now you can have nice summaries. For example, here file summaries check read, write, accesses to certain files. Already done, as I said, already done a video on that. Next thing is, of course, which is also something very valuable, is the execution summary to see which processes are executed. Maybe there's something executed periodically which is calling home, right? So you could check this. And of course, next thing, check the authentication summary. If you see something suspicious, of course, always go into the logs, see, well, how many failed attempts, what's going on here, and so on and so forth. But this gives you a good overview. Next thing, I've already done a video on this too, rootkits. If you have any suspicion you have a rootkit on your system, I hope you do not, but if you have, check for rootkits. There are tools like RK Hunter and similar, which I forgot the name right now, but I made a video on that. Next thing you can do is watch the network traffic manually, so see if there are any spikes, if there's anything going on, and so forth. Then the next thing, check the kernel ring buffer. This reveals very good information most of the time. Same thing for the journal, right? So check the journal maybe 10 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, once in a while, just to see what's going on, if you see any patterns, anything is coming up. And of course, if you have any form of custom software or you see anything suspicious in the checks we've just discussed, then you have to check in the log folder or in the corresponding folder of your service that you're investigating, right? So these are just overview techniques. Of course, the more granular stuff I'm not getting into, because this then depends a lot of which services are running on your system. But especially with self-coded stuff, of course, there is always a possibility that something, especially if there are like older legacy systems, there's something might happen, right? And I've talked about this at the beginning, but I want to just connect very quickly. If you have anything important, a server with something, with some important service running, at least see that you've got a monitoring, and if you have sensitive data, at least have a file integrity management or even a CM or SOC CM software, anything like that installed. And that's all for the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful.